The Los Angeles Regional Final Round. UCLA, LMU, an all Los Angeles matchup for the right to advance to the Super Regionals, the #1 national seed and the West Coast Conference Tournament champions. Last night in a winner's bracket game, the LMU Lions stunning the UCLA Bruins. Cooper Ewell, the game-winning hit. And LMU gets a 3-2 win, sending UCLA to the loser's bracket and had to survive an elimination game earlier today. And LMU waiting in this double elimination format. They need to lose twice. Earlier today, UCLA, the Bats, finally woke up. They hit 4 home runs against the Baylor Bears, eliminating Baylor from the NCAA tournament as UCLA scored and kept scoring against the Baylor Bears to move into our regional final round. And UCLA have been shut down the first 2 games here this weekend. They're rolling now. Welcome to the NCAA Baseball Regionals presented by Capital One. Jackie Robinson Stadium on a beautiful Sunday night in Southern California. The LA Regional hooks up with the Corvallis Regional. Creighton and Michigan in the regional final up in Corvallis, awaiting the winner of our regional here between LMU and UCLA. Along with Wes Clements, Roxy Bernstein with you. And the key for UCLA with the loss last night, they have to win 3 games over a span of 30 hours to move into the Super Regionals, the #1 national seed, West. They've already gotten 1 out of the way.
Well, when John Savage and the Bruins woke up this morning, they had 1 goal, win game 1 to get to this game tonight. Now it's win first inning of game 2 tonight, and then you just move on if you win. Now, what we haven't said, if LMU wins this game, Roxy, they're moving on to the Super Regional.
For the first time in school history, but UCLA has struggled with the Bats the first 2 games. They got rolling against Baylor earlier today.
Well, they really did. You see the batting average the first 2 games, and we talked about the second game, and actually the first game today, what they did. They left the yard 4 times, Cardenas, and of course Tolia, Kreidler, and then Jake Prees, and they came awake, and I think most importantly for the Bruins, one back, Mr. Tolia, is wide awake right now.
So they'll try to keep it going against the Lions here tonight. And the story for LMU all season long has been their pitching, and LMU has been dominant with their starting pitching the first 2 games.
Well, you see a sub-1.5 ERA for this regional, but it's not really a surprise to anybody that knows this club. They led the WCC in ERA, Roxy. They've been sensational the entire year.
We'll see what they have in the back end of the rotation, as it is UCLA and LMU. Lineups and first pitch next, regional final round in Los Angeles. Approaching first pitch of this regional final round at Jackie Robinson Stadium. Even though UCLA is the home team in the regional, they're the visiting team in this game. LMU sending lefty Matt Volker to the mound. And Volker, 5'10", 185-pound sophomore. He's from Granite Bay up in Northern California near Sacramento. And he gets the start here in this regional final. Again, LMU needs to lose twice to UCLA. They'd have to lose tonight, and the Bruins would have to win tomorrow, where the Lions just need to win 1.
Well, Volker's going to feature a fastball 86 to 86, or 86 to 88. Very good command, just 15 walks. You see right there, Roxy. And that's basically what you can talk about. When you talk about this LMU pitching staff, that's what it's based on, command, Roxy. Not overpowering, just command.
Garrett Mitchell leads it off. He had 2 triples earlier today in the win against Baylor. And he fouls off the first pitch. 358 for the sophomore from Orange, California. 6 home runs for Garrett Mitchell.
I think it's really, really important for UCLA to get out on top in a hurry, just to send a little message. Hey, this is our yard. This is our field. We're the best team in the country, and we're going to prove it.
1 strike pitch. Mitchell, fly ball. Plenty of room out there in center. Dylan Hirsch in front of the warning track. That's how our ball game begins. A look at the lineup for John Savage and the #1 national seed, UCLA. And the thump was out earlier. 8 extra base hits in the win against Baylor. And Noah Cardenas homered. The freshman is hitting .420 out of the 7-hole.
It is amazing when you look at the 7-hole and you see it. And the freshman hitting .420 has been sensational behind the dish, but so is this youngster right here. Ryan Kreidler, the entire series, Roxy, has hit the ball on the button.
Homered earlier today. He drove in 3 in the 11-6 win over Baylor as he takes ball 1.
And then, of course, last night in the game that they lost to LMU, Kreidler came up with the bases loaded and 2 outs and sent a ball to the base of the wall in right field.
1-0 pitch from Volker. That's low. As Volker primarily has worked out of the bullpen this year. He has made 4 starts, 17 relief appearances, 2-4, 7 saves, and a 4.38 ERA. 2-0 pitch to Kreidler. Hit in the air, right center field. Dylan Hirsch going back with room. 2 outs.
Well, Kreidler is really swinging the bat well. I know that's a fly out, but he's been on everything. That jog back to the dugout, it's not a bad feeling. It's a good feeling saying, you know what, I am locked in.
2 down for Chase Strumpf, junior from Dana Point.
He needs to get going. He has struggled for a long time recently.
Matt Volker the pitch, and that's a strike.
Well, Chase was a preseason All-American. Take a look at John Savage in his 15th year at UCLA. Roxy, tremendous job.
Pac-12 Coach of the Year. As UCLA in this regional final, the 1-strike pitch. Fooled out in front of the off-speed.
Good changeup by Volker right there. But Chase has really, really struggled. And you know what? A credit to him. You know what hasn't struggled? Even though he hasn't been hitting, his defense has been stellar.
0-2 the count. Wind up from Volker in the pitch. Strike 3 called. 1, 2, 3. Go the Bruins on 8 pitches. LMU coming to bat. Here come the Lions in the home half of the first, as LMU and UCLA separated by just over 10 miles. And freshman Nick Nastrini making the start. He has not pitched since late February. 3 games on the season, just 2 starts. 10 2/3 innings, has not allowed a run. He has 17 strikeouts and 4 walks. And Nick Nastrini, who hasn't pitched again since late February, now thrown into this high-pressure situation for UCLA.
Well, when you say he hasn't thrown, you are correct as far as officially, but he's thrown a lot on the side, Roxy. He is in shape, so it's not like we have somebody that can't get pushed a little bit. He's got a pretty good arm, 88 to 91, and he's had a lot of success when he's been out there.
Trevin Esquera, the cleanup batter for LMU. 16 homers, 59 batted in. The bulk of the offense centers around him, and LMU needs to see their cleanup batter deliver tonight.
Well, it's an LMU offense. Jason Gill will tell you. What do you say? They paper cut you. And I mean, outside of Esquera, who's got over 75% of their home runs, they just paper cut you. They keep chinking and just pecking away at you, and somehow they end up scoring more runs.
Nick Sogard, 309, leads it off and takes a strike. 93 from Nastrini.
That's a good sight for John Savage, isn't it? First pitch of the game.
First pitch.
Yeah, 93.
2 for 6 in the regional. Nick Sogard, the junior shortstop. As Nick Nastrini. 1-strike pitch. Just missed, 1-1. As Nastrini, the reason he hasn't pitched since late February, because of thoracic outlet syndrome. He had an impingement with his rib on the right side of his body, and he had to have it removed. He's been ready to go for about 2 to 3 weeks. As Sogard skies it left side of the infield. Ryan Kreidler, the shortstop. Out number 1. But he's been ready to go. They just haven't had an opportunity to get him into a game.
And what better opportunity, right? In a must-win situation. Hey, you want to go today? Sure, I'll take the ball. What a luxury, though, for John Savage to have somebody like Nick available for this type of game.
Kenny Oyama, all 5'2", with the sophomore left fielder. hitting .237. Nastrini winds in the pitch. Fastball fouled away. Nastrini faced LMU back on February 19th. It was the first midweek game of the year. Went 4 2/3, struck out 9. Gave up 2 hits, no runs. 1 strike pitch. Foul back.
I think John Savage knew that.
I think he was aware.
Yeah, I think he's aware. I mean, he's one of the best in the country.
I don't think it slipped by him. Out of Cathedral Catholic High School in San Diego. 6'3" freshman right-hander. Just walking around the UCLA dugout earlier, he was very loose. A good sign to see. You don't want to see somebody uptight when stakes are like this and there's the pressure that comes along with a start like tonight. Blew it by him. 2 gone. 93 from Nastrini. And Jason Gill, the head coach of LMU, has experience as a player and an assistant coach in the postseason. His first taste as a head coach, and had a terrific playing career at Cal State Fullerton. He's been to Omaha numerous times. And he's trying to get LMU to a super regional for the first time in school history.
Well, Roxy, if I'm Jason Gill, I'm trying to win tonight. And I'll tell you why. Yes, they have the luxury, if they lose, to play another game tomorrow. You do not want to play UCLA tomorrow.
First pitch, Brandon Shear pops it up. Foul ground. Out of play.
You want to get them right now while you have them on the ropes. And what I mean on the ropes, yes, it's their home yard, but if they're ever going to be short pitching, it is tonight. I mean, they're relying on somebody who hasn't been on the mound since February. You got to get them now. Don't give them new life to play a game tomorrow night in their own yard.
Used 6 pitchers in the win against Baylor earlier today. 1 strike pitch from Nastrini. Bouncer to the right side. Chase Strumpf on to Michael Tolley. 8 pitches for Nastrini. Scoreless to the second. Well, these are the last number 1 national seeds to not start the tournament 2-0 in the current format adopted in 1999. UCLA did not survive the regional round as the number 1 national seed in 2015. And the last one that was able to move on was Florida State, Mike Martin in 2003. Speaking of Florida State, how about their performance in Athens, Georgia?
Just unbelievable that they took out and they have advanced on a super regional, but they beat Georgia, the national seed Georgia, in their own ballpark.
Jake Priest has hit 2 home runs in this regional, the senior DH, including one earlier today in the first inning in the win over Baylor. Matt Volker missing down low. So Priest has been a force already for UCLA in this regional. Matt Volker, 1-1 pitch. And Volker's not going to overpower anybody, but you talk to Jason Gill and the LMU staff, he will battle, he will compete. This kid's tough.
Well, I think Paiva, who started on Friday night, kind of sets the tone for this LMU staff.
3-1 on Jake Priest.
Let's see, here's where you really, really have to be selective if you're a UCLA hitter, Roxy. He's not overpowering whatsoever, so he's not going to give in and throw a ball right down the middle. He's going to try to get you to go out fishing for something that's not right down the middle.
Fouled back.
Yeah.
Full count.
I'm 0 for 1 already this game. It's right down the middle. What's my batting average for the weekend?
Hey, why get it right now?
Well, last game I think it was like 3 for 4, wasn't it?
Yeah, but those were softballs.
You cannot but. It's just, there's not a bad 3 for 4.
I can do what I want. Payoff to Priest. Fisted back to the screen. So LMU looking to advance to a super regional for the first time in program history. Now, they've won a regional before, but that was before the super regionals came into play. They went to Omaha in the College World Series in 1986. Priest, another foul ball. UCLA and
that's a calm
regional final, back-to-back seasons for the first time since 2010 through 13. 8th pitch of the at-bat. He had 8 pitches in the first inning, and he struck him out. The off-speed, and it fooled Jake Freese. Second strikeout for Matt Volker.
Well, after a couple fastball foul balls, here comes the changeup. What's a good changeup? Fastball arm action, changeup velocity, and you see it right there.
One down. Here is Michael Toglia. Hit his 15th home run earlier today. And a ball that was absolutely destroyed. From the left side, he hit it well back on top of the batting cage out in right field. Strike called to Toglia, and there's that batting cage. And he hit it about, what, 3/4 of the way to the other side?
A good 3/4 to the other side.
Talked to Rex Peters before the ball game, the hitting coach for UCLA, about that home run from Toglia. And there's a ball drilled deep left field. Michael Toglia does it again. 1-0. He nailed the car, didn't he?
Well, I don't know if it hit it, but it came real close. Unless he just drilled it right on top. But Michael Toglia, we talked about in the open, I think the most important thing for this offense is that this young man who led the Bruins in home runs woke up. We're going to look at where this ball bounces.
Hello, car.
Wow. State Farm is there. Yep, right on the hood. There's somebody in that car, by the way. He is always out there shagging baseballs. Serious.
1-0 Bruins. The long homer from Toglia. But Rex Peters telling me, is Jeremy Iden's the batter, that it may have been the longest home run he's seen to right field ever at this ballpark. It rivaled a ball former Baylor Bear and current LA Dodger Max Muncy hit some years ago here at Jackie Robinson. Jeremy Idens to left field. Dies at the wall. Kenny Oyama able to handle it.
How about Oyama right there, right? Everybody was excited except Oyama. It's like, Oyama's in left field like, I got this. I really do. So I don't know what you guys are getting excited for. Watch Oyama right here. Everybody's screaming, that thing's out of the park. What are you guys talking about?
2 outs. And that'll bring up Noah Cardenas, the freshman catcher, .420 with the average. A homer by Michael Toglia, a 1-0 lead for UCLA. Six for 11 in the regional. 1-strike pitch. Cued by Cardenas. Steven Chavez underhands. Matt Volker to the bag. Side retired. But Michael Toglia unloads for UCLA.
Well, he picked up where he left off the last game. He left the yard in the first game. Left the yard right-handed. Watch out, Carr. 1-0 Bruins.
Our guy might be moving his car a little bit too late here. Look, the police have come.
Oh, there's
the dent, courtesy of Michael Toglia. Home run ball, the 16th of the year for Toglia, 1-0 UCLA. Bottom 2, Trevin Esquera leads it off. And Nick Nestrini's fastball is bounced to first. Toglia handles it. 1 out. 4 hitters, all retired by Nestrini, who hasn't pitched in a game since late February. And he has come out of the gates blazing with 93.
Boy, what a luxury for John Savage. Who knew, as they say?
Well, John Savage probably knew.
Well, he absolutely did.
And these LMU hitters knew because they've seen Nestrini once this year. This is the 4th meeting between UCLA and LMU as Steven Chavez takes high ball 1, hitting just .211. Junior from Playa del Rey. 2 midweek games during the regular season, both won by UCLA, including a shutout. And LMU winning last night 3-2 in the winner's bracket game. 1-0 pitch. 1-1.
Wow, what a nice little change up there. Boy, I tell you what, most people, excuse me, not people, but teams and head coaches.
The car's been moved, by the way.
Well, I don't even understand why you would do that. I mean, just suck it up and pull it back up there. Let's go.
You already got it, Den.
Yeah, it's already obviously going to have to run into the shop, so just pull it up there. I mean, he's been out there for 20 years, and what he does, I don't know his name, but this gentleman is here every time there's a UCLA baseball game, and he collects all the foul balls and the home runs that go over in BP.
Now he just took one for the team.
Yeah, well, his hood collected one, that's all.
2-1 pitch to Chavez. Tipped into the glove of Noah Cardenas, 2-2.
But what I started to say, but most head coaches playing in the second game on elimination day don't have the luxury of somebody like Nastrini to be able to use.
Just his fourth appearance. His freshman season. 2-2 pitch. Fooled him on the slider in the dirt. Noah Cardenas down to first. Second strikeout for Nick Nastrini.
Well, this is a slider, and he takes a little bit off this, but watch Cardenas behind the plate. He has improved so much blocking balls, Roxy. The young freshman has just been tremendous. What a jewel the Bruins have in Cardenas.
2 outs, second baseman Alex Lambo, a .250 hitter, climbs in. LMU looking for a base runner against Nastrini. Fouled away off to the right.
Well, if you were with us earlier for game one, UCLA had a big-time problem with shutdown innings. And shutdown innings are when your team scores and you're the pitcher, you go out the next inning and don't allow the other team to score. Baylor was 5 for 5, ended up being, 6 for 7, I believe, in scoring.
1 strike pitch. Lined, and Lambo has LMU's first base runner. Solid single to right. He's at first with 2 outs for the DH, Ethan Patrick.
Now, this is a much, much different offense than the Baylor Bears have. And Lambeau doesn't try to pull this ball, and he feathers it right over Strump's head into right field. But when you look at this game, and it's much different than the game one we had. With the Baylor Bears being the best hitting team in the Big 12, LMU hits .257 as a team, 8th in the WCC. They win games with their pitching.
So 2-out base runner, Ethan Patrick, takes it just off the outside. And Patrick, the DH last night, the freshman from Pasadena, he started that rally in the bottom of the 7th last night with a single back up the middle. Then he was pinch run for, which wound up being the winning run. 1-0 pitch in the dirt, knocked down by Cardenas is Nick Nastrini going from the stretch for the first time.
That's another good job by Cardenas behind the dish. Watch how athletic he is.
So with Baylor being eliminated earlier today, they were the first of the 5 Big 12 teams in the tournament to be eliminated. 2-0 pitch. Strike on the outside. 2-1. UCLA, again, in a regional final. Back-to-back years. And the Bruins need to win tonight to reach Game 7 of this regional. No #1 national seed has been eliminated without winning at least 3 games in the NCAA tournament. 3-1.
Well, in the Oklahoma City regional, Oklahoma State from the Big 12, one of the hottest, arguably, in the entire country, if not the Big 12, they got beat by Connecticut, and another game tomorrow to find out who wins that Super between Connecticut and Oklahoma State. Who moves on to the Super, I should say.
Fastball line to left, coming in. Jack Stronach makes the catch. A runner left for the Lions. 1-0 UCLA to the 3rd. Well, look at the program comparison between these two schools, these two Los Angeles schools. UCLA winning the 2013 national championship, and LMU trying to get to a super regional for the first time in program history. 8-9-1 for UCLA to the 3rd. Matt Volker delivers to Jack Stronach. First pitch, chopped to first base. Steven Chavez makes the play, 1 out. Nine-hitter Matt McLean, third baseman with 4 home runs, hitting .203. And the freshman who was a first-round draft pick by the Diamondbacks. 25th overall last June, and the draft
started
less
the
than
year.
24 hours away for 2019.
It is. Big day tomorrow.
Matt Volker delivers. McLean shows bunt, and it's a strike call.
And I think everybody expects, and he's kind of been the consensus #1 pick. Adley Rutschman, Oregon State catcher, outstanding. Somebody that comes along for me, Roxy, I don't know about for you, once every decade maybe. Kind of like the Andrew Luck of college baseball.
1 strike pitch. Matt McLean takes the off speed, 0-2. As UCLA campus just across the 405 from Jackie Robinson Stadium. While the LMU campus down the 405 right near LAX. Just over 10 miles separating the two campuses as McLean dribbles it foul.
Well, while we're talking about catcher, we'd be remiss if we didn't mention Shea Langoliers, how we got the privilege to watch that young man play for Baylor.
Hey, look, the 405, it's moving, Wes.
Oh, you're not going to go there. It's always moving. It's just a different speed. That's all.
You know, a lot of times it's a parking lot.
It's still moving. Locked up is one thing. That's Northern California.
2 strike pitch. McLean takes it just outside.
Kevin Sweeney, home plate umpire. And you know what's interesting about these umpires, a 4-man crew, Roxy? Majority of them have done major league games. They will go up and do some major league games.
One and two on McLean with 1 down. Top of the order, Garrett Mitchell on deck. As Matt Volker delivers, and McLean bounces one towards short. Tough play. Nick Sogard to the move. It gets by Steven Chavez. McLean is on. With a difficult play, especially with the way McLean runs. And he's aboard with 1 out, and Mitchell coming up.
Well, Sogard, if anybody's going to know who's running at the plate, it's Sogard. Why? He's the fastest guy in LMU. So he gets to this ball. He knows McLean's speed. He's got to get rid of it right now. And all he can hope for is Chavez pulling him out on the other end. And
infield hit for Matt McLean. And Sogard made a nice play, Wes. He tried to get in front of it.
Rounded it.
Tried to get his momentum into the throw and just couldn't get it there. And McLean is on. Garrett Mitchell a fly out in the first. Moved that way. McLean is back. Matt McLean, 6 steals on the year. He's been caught twice.
Garrett Mitchell, couple triples down the first base line in game 1 today. Boy, can he run, can he?
Strike. Outside edge of the knees.
Boy, I tell you what, Mitchell's asking home plate umpire Kevin Sweeney, was that on the black? Was that on the corner? Was that an inch? Because if he's going to give Volker, speaking of Sweeney behind the plate calling balls and strikes, that pitch, good for Volker.
1-1 on Garrett Mitchell. And we mentioned earlier, Garrett Mitchell and sophomore battling diabetes. It's been a manageable disease he's been dealing with. Handled it well. And it hasn't slowed him down in any fashion. And we saw him earlier today, in fact, before the first game, about 15, 20 minutes before the ball game in the dugout, checking his blood sugar level and poke of the finger.
Just part of his day. It's a routine. It's been with him a while.
Does it a number of times throughout the course of the day. He wears an insulin pump as well. And his back left pocket area. And look, we've seen major leaguers thrive dealing with diabetes. And Brandon Morrow, for example, Jason Johnson, a couple of major league pitchers. Adam Duvall. Volker's 1-1. Out in front, Garrett Mitchell. And this was earlier today when he checked his level before game one. Making sure everything was good. It's just part of everyday life for Garrett Mitchell and what he has to go through. 1-2 pitch. Just low to Garrett Mitchell.
Well, that is a tremendous pitch by Volker. Again, it's down, but it's barely down.
Evens the count?
Yeah, but one thing that Mitchell has really improved on is putting the ball in play ever since John Savage inserted him in the leadoff spot. That's a tough spot for John Savage and the offense. With McLean on first base, it's very, very hard to send him on a 3-2 count because the left-hander's on the mound.
Matt McLean, great speed at first base. Foul ball from Garrett Mitchell. Drafted by the A's in the 14th round out of high school.
That round's going to improve next year. I'm just going down on a limb.
He'll go within the first 14 picks.
Yeah.
Had a great experience last summer playing in the Northwoods Collegiate League. 3-2. Strike three call, ran it over the inside edge. Third strikeout for Matt Volker, his second looking.
Well, he just locked him up on the inside part. Perfectly located. He knew it.
Two gone here in the UCLA third, and that will leave it up to Ryan Kreidler, a deep flyout in the first. 1-0 UCLA, a home run by Michael Tolia in the second. Inside to Kreidler.
Kreidler with a big home run to center field in game one against Baylor. He's been swinging the bat since the start of this regional.
Just hasn't had that much to show for it. He's hit some atom balls. Move to first, Matt McLean back. Other regionals going on right now, and Creighton with a 1-0 lead on Michigan through 2 in Corvallis. And the winner of that regional will match up with the winner of ours in the Super Regionals. Creighton needs to beat Michigan twice. 1-0 pitch. Outside, 2-0. Stanford a 1-0 lead on Fresno State. The Cardinal need to beat the Bulldogs twice. And how about Stanford and David Esker holding Eric Miller back, his regular number 3. Did not pitch him in an elimination game earlier today against Sacramento State. Now they thumped the Hornets, but he has Miller going tonight. RBI double from Will Matheson giving Stanford the lead as the Cardinal hitting 4 home runs earlier today. And gutsy move by David Esker as pitching coach Thomas Eager.
Well, head coaches have to roll the dice at some point in time if you're going to win a regional, Roxy, and David Esker did it. But how about Mike Batesell's Fresno State club?
In the driver's seat of the Stanford regional. 2-0 pitch. Kreidler fooled by the changeup.
Great changeup right there. It's up, but it's, again, it's a fastball arm action with a velocity with the changeup, and it's so difficult.
2-1 on Ryan Kreidler. UCLA shortstop. Matt Volker. Kreidler lines it to center. Matt McLean takes a turn, stays at second base. 2 on, 2 out, and Chase Trump coming up for the Bruins.
A little bit surprised on this hit by Kreidler with McLean at first, Roxy, that he didn't try to test the arm of Hirsch in center field.
Well, the only thing I wonder, Wes, is by getting to second, McLean's in scoring position anyways.
Right, but it's a part of UCLA's MO. I mean, they run the bases very aggressively.
They certainly were earlier today.
We saw it early in game one with Baylor, with Idens at third base on a shallow fly ball, first and third, and no outs. that Bryant Ward sent Idens home. He was safe, but it was close.
2 on, 2 out. Chase Trump struck out in the first. Takes strike one.
You know, we talked a lot about Michael Toglia had not swung the bat very well in this regional. Chase Trump, he's the final piece of this offense that needs to get going. He has scuffled for about the last month, really, when you think about it.
1 strike pitch. Swing and a drive. Chase Trump. Big fly. 4-0 UCLA, the 8th for Chase Trump.
Well, it's going to take a look at this dugout when he gets back there. He's one of the leaders. Everybody knows he's been struggling, Roxy, but watch this greeting when he gets back to the dugout. It's a big welcome back, Chase Trump. He does not miss this at all, Rox. This is a no doubter.
6 home runs for UCLA today. 4 in game 1, already 2 here against Volker in game 2. Jake Priest, strike 1.
There he is. I mean, that's a big weight lifted off this young man's shoulders.
And a big lead early for UCLA in game 6 of the regional. 0-2 on Jake Priest.
Don't you just love how Jake Priest swings the bat, Roxy? You know
he doesn't get cheated.
No, he doesn't. Look at the big senior.
Oh, 0-2 on Priest. The pitch. Hit in the air to right. Coming in, Trevin Esquera. Camps under it, puts it away, but the damage is done. Chase Trump with a big drive for UCLA.
Well, he'd been struggling. Everybody had been contributing. It's been a long time since the Bruins have seen this off the bat. And Chase, Bruins up 4-0.
Some NCAA regional storylines, and how about Florida State? Mike Martin in his final season, and the Noles, an NCAA record 17th appearance in the Super Regionals as they eliminate Georgia. As one of the top 8 seeds is out, and one of the top 8 seeds in the number 1 overall seed hoping to stay in here with UCLA is Dylan Hirsch. The center fielder leads off the home third for Loyola Marymount. 224 for Hirsch. And Nick Nastrini swing and a miss. 91 from the freshman who's making just his 3rd start, 4th appearance of the season. He hasn't pitched since late February because of thoracic outlet syndrome. He had surgery to remove a rib from the right side of his body, which is causing an impingement.
I am fascinated when you tell me a part of a rib just taken away.
And here he is. His last outing was February 26th at CSUN, also known as Cal State Northridge. 1-2 pitch to Hirsch. Just low from Nastrini.
You know, we talked about Ryan Garcia, the Pac-12 pitcher of the year, how easy he throws, 94, 95. Nastrini.
You see it?
Yeah, it's kind of right there. Boy, what a jewel John Savage has right here.
2-2 pitch. Dylan Hirsch, swing and a miss, 3rd strikeout for Nick Nastrini. 1 gone.
The ESPN networks bring you every game on the road to Omaha, starting with regional coverage on ESPN2, ESPNU, the SEC Network, and ESPN3. Whip-around coverage is also available through ESPN3 and the Bases Loaded channel. All coverage is available on the ESPN app.
Creighton now up 2-0 on Michigan. Stanford leading Fresno State 2-0. Christian Robinson an RBI double. The 9-hitter, Cooper Ewell, the catcher, who had a huge hit last night. The RBI single that drove in the winning run.
You know, we talked about the Corvallis Regional and Creighton playing Michigan, but Eric Backus, the head coach for Michigan, his name is rumored in a lot of places. There's a lot of open jobs. He's a hot commodity right now.
1 strike pitch. It's away from Noah Cardenas, 1-1. And people have connected him to the job across town, with USC having an opening.
USC letting go of Dan Hubbs last week.
Hate to see it, because I really like Dan Hubbs, and I do think he's a good coach.
He's a really good man.
1-1 pitch in there to Ewell. 1-2.
Of course, George Horton is out at Oregon. Former Cal State Fullerton head coach, and Jason Gill coached with George Horton at Cal State Fullerton.
Long Beach State has an opening right now.
Troy Buckley let go mid-season.
Washington State. 1-2 pitch in the dirt. 2-2. Jason Gill's done a terrific job in getting LMU back to the postseason for the first time since 2000.
Well, he has a lot of experience with success in collegiate baseball, both as a player. He's been to Omaha twice, and as a coach as well twice.
They swept right through the West Coast Conference tournament in Stockton last weekend. 2-2 pitch. Blows him away. 4 strikeouts for Nick Nastrini.
Well, Nastrini's fastball is normally 93. Watch it. It's 86, this pitch right here, and the bottom just drops out of it.
Back to the top of the order for Nick Sogard with 2 down. 31 pitches to this point for Nastrini.
John Savage drew a picture of a plan how he wanted this game to go. This is exactly it. Get a 4-0 lead in the bottom of the 3rd, and my pitcher.
Ground ball sharply hit back up the middle. Second hit for the Lions, and Nick Sogard is aboard with 2 down for Kenny Oyama.
Well, this is what Sogard does. He knows he doesn't have a lot of power, just puts the ball in play. But what I started to say is have a starting pitcher go out there and throw 3 innings and be not only put up zeros, but be very, very efficient. Which he has, just 32 pitches in 2 2/3.
2 down, Sogard, who has 30 stolen bases on the year at first. 4-0 UCLA. Oyama, left fielder, as a throw to first by Nastrini.
And the one thing that's much different with this LMU offense, Roxy, is yes, LMU is down 4-0, but Sogard is a big part of how they score runs. So you just don't shut down the running game. You can't shut down Sogard,
But the challenge for the Lions, is Haida Oyama. They're not necessarily built to come back from big deficits.
No, they are not.
They're about pitching and defense, playing tight ball games.
Well,
now you look at Baylor, for example, and a 4-0 lead is nothing for them to come back from. But for LMU, it's going to be a challenge, especially the way that Nastrini is throwing.
And there you see the throw over. And John Savage is very, very aware that Sogard is going to run it eventually. Pay no attention to the score.
1-0 on Kenny Oyama. Another move to first base. Nick Nastrini ready. And the 1-0 pitch. Sogard bluffs going and a strike called. 1-1 the count on Kenny Oyama.
Well, the one thing about Oyama, he knows his job. He knows his limitations. He's not going to hit balls out of the ballpark. He knows with Sogard hitting in front of him, there are times he's going to have to take upwards to 2 strikes before he even offers at pitches to allow Sogard to steal second. And then sometimes he takes his time getting into the box.
1-1 the count. Another move to first, and UCLA paying close attention to Nick Sogard over there, as they should.
Well, this is the beauty of John Savage. I mean, when you think of John Savage, you think, what a great pitching coach. He's a great baseball mind. He understands how the game works. He understands the opposition. He understands the strengths and weaknesses.
Kenny Oyama pops this one out of play. And it's 1-2 on the LMU left fielder, the sophomore from Tribuca.
But now it's advantage Bruins and Nostrani and John Savage being ahead in count 1-2. Roxy, regardless if Sogard goes right now, you just saw a pitch right down the middle. You know Oyama is not going to hit it out of the yard.
And the outfield is shortened up. Big hole in the right side of the diamond with Tolia holding Nick Sogard at first base. It's upstairs to Kenny Oyama. 2-2 the count.
You see Cardenas kind of peek out of his right side, his right eye, just at Sogard. I mean, this is a tendency that catchers will do at all levels. When there's a runner at first and they know, catchers are fully aware who's at first base.
2 down, 4-0 UCLA on 2 big flies from Michael Tolia and Chase Strumpf. Another pitch fought off by Kenny Oyama. Jason Gill trying to get something going here for his offense. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. 37 pitches for Nastrini. Oyama drives this one out of play. Another light tower.
Really?
Time and time again, we've seen it. We've seen trees get hit with balls, cars.
I'm very disappointed that the car backed up in left field. He's been parked there for 20 years almost. And then just because the hood got hit by a baseball.
You think it's the first time?
To that car, unless he's had, State Farm or Geico fix it about 5 different times.
There it is. Backed it up.
It's shiny, though, so you know he takes care of that car.
I wouldn't have parked it where he did in the first place, just with the possibility of getting hit by a batted ball. Strike 3 called. Nastrini. 3 strikeouts in the inning. He's got 5. The freshman is rolling. UCLA up 4-0. LMU coach Jason Gill joins us next. UCLA a 4-0 lead as we go to the 4th inning. Michael Tolia, Jeremy Idens, Noah Cardenas due up. Jason Gill, the head coach of the Lions, joins us. And Jason, Nick Nastrini so far has been tough on your hitters. What are you seeing from the UCLA pitcher that's giving your guys problems?
Well, he's got a good fastball. He's mixing it both to the top and the bottom of the zone. And good slider and a good change. He's good.
Well, Jason, before this day started, you knew ahead of time that somebody's going to have to beat you twice. So you're in the driver's seat in this regional. Do you have 2 plans as you came in today? If this happens by this inning, then we go into plan B? Or you just kind of roll inning by inning, out by out?
We have a plan B. There's definitely a plan B based on the game score. But right now we feel like we're still in this game. I mean, there's a lot of baseball to be played here.
When you see the way your team has performed the first couple of games, and you think they've ridden that momentum from last week?
Hold on a sec, guys. Oh, we got one. Yeah, I think they have. I think they've ridden that momentum wholeheartedly, and they're a pretty loose group. I mean, even after that three-run home run, they're talking here is, hey, perfect, guys. Think of how good it's going to feel, So it's stuff like that, and I think that's carried on from last week for sure.
Well, Jason, talk about the WCC, if you will. I mean, it seems to be the most underrated conference on the West Coast, and it seems like all the experts on an annual basis, that's a 1-team lead for postseason. What are your thoughts?
I don't think that's the case. I think, I have an opinion about the RPI. I don't think it's the right measuring stick for teams out west, especially in California. just because we beat up on each other and there's nowhere for us to go. And I think we fall victims to that, not being in a Power 5 conference. Our conference falls victim. We had 3, maybe 4 regional quality teams in our conference this year. But it is what you make of it, I guess. And we have been a one-bid league, and we have to figure out a way to stop that from happening. But our league's tough. I mean, top to bottom, it's tough.
It is a very good league, and you won it in the conference tournament last week. Jason, thanks for the time.
Thanks, guys.
Jason Gill, the head coach of the Lions. There's a ball driven deep to left. Hooking. Jeremy Idens has left the ballpark. 5-0 UCLA. Third for Idens. Seven home runs for UCLA today.
Well, the offense has woken up. The bench has woken up. The UCLA fan base has woken up. And I think, Roxy, the nation has kind of woken up. And last night, when the Bruins lost, you could kind of hear it, the rumblings, right? Was UCLA an overrated team? But this is a slider down and in. And the good part of this is Iden keeps it fair. And, of course, the car is gone. Otherwise, that would have been, what? You think that would have got the car?
Noah Cardenas grounded out in the second. Would have been close. Although when it bounced, it may have hit the car on the bounce because it was in that direction. After it landed beyond the wall and left. 2-0 the count is Matt Volker getting knocked around. Kyle Mora getting up in the LMU bullpen. It rolled under the car, actually. There is Mora, not to be confused with the Kyle Mora who we've seen pitch for UCLA here this weekend. That was not an in-game or in-tournament trade either. It's two different Kyle Moras.
Would you be surprised if I told you for a second I was confused because I looked left at the Bruins bullpen?
No, I wouldn't have been surprised.
Well, I have no problem admitting it. I just did. I looked left and I said, where is he?
3-0 on Noah Cardenas. And on 4 pitches, Cardenas trots down to first. First walk issued by Matt Volker. And Jack Stronach, the batter, a ground out in the third.
Well, we did talk to Jason Gill and asked him the question about Plan A, Plan B, because obviously they have a luxury, even if they lose this game. Speaking of LMU, is we're going to get a trip out to the mound.
Nathan Choate, the pitching coach.
But, they do have a luxury. If they lose tonight, there's another game tomorrow. But, Jason Gill is going to have to make a decision at some point in time here. When does Plan B go into place?
For more coverage of the Division I, baseball regionals, and interactive brackets, go to NCAA.com. Check out our bracket, as well as the Corvallis Regional. And a 2-0 lead for Creighton over Michigan. In the bottom of the third is the Wolverines, of the home team in that game. There is the LMU version of Kyle Mora. Getting loose.
That is incredible when you think about it.
And they're both junior right-hand pitchers.
It's even worse.
In case you're wondering, no relation to Jim Mora, the former UCLA football coach. Strike call to Jack Stronach. Again, UCLA has to win tonight to force a game tomorrow. If LMU wins tonight, they win the regional. Double elimination format. Bruins trying to force a Game 7 here tomorrow night. 6 o'clock Pacific time if the Bruins win. Jack Stronach bunts, played by Volker, stumbles a bit, throws to first, just getting Stronach by a half a step. And Nico Gallego, the first base coach, motions to the UCLA dugout. They should challenge this. It is a reviewable play under the guidelines with replay available here in the regionals.
Well, we'll get a look at it. And you mentioned he stumbled. Speaking of Volker, he looked to third for some reason. Well, Lambeau was in our way. We'll get a better look here. Let's see. He's safe. He's safe.
Yep.
Good call by Gallego.
Nico's on top of it.
Got a proud dad somewhere, watching out there. That's my son.
His dad, Mike Gallego, the third base coach for the Angels, and a World Series champion with the Oakland A's, and a former UCLA Bruin.
And if you're wondering, there's an NCAA review center who handles all replay, and basically there's 4 umpires here, but that center acts as a 5th umpire of this crew. If they see something on their own and nobody said something here, they can go ahead and signal in and let us know, hold on a second.
So this is a UCLA-initiated challenge, and this does fall under the guidelines of review.
We'll get another look. This is easy for me, Rox. Foot.
Yep.
Down.
I'm with you. I think this will get overturned.
And I have bad eyes, and he's safe.
Michigan's just taken a 3-2 lead on Creighton. Up in Corvallis. If Michigan wins, they advance.
Look at Gallego right there.
I know I'm right.
Yeah, he has that look.
Why is anybody doubting
that's
me?
That's exactly what the look he has. And I know his father, so do you, and I know his father's like, yep, he got that from me. He's turning around. Let's go. Would you hurry up? Just make sure everybody knows I was right.
So the UCLA challenge. The ruling on the field is out. And we'll see. This replay at least shows to us
that he's obviously
that Jack Stronach was safe. And they have overturned the call.
Look at him.
Yep, I got it. Yep, look at the smile. That's all me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Good job, Nico Gallego. And that'll be an infield hit for Stronach. And there's 2 on with 1 out. And Jason Gill coming to the mound. And that will be all for Matt Volker as the Bruins have chased him here in the 4th. Kyle Mora coming in for LMU. And a 5-0 lead for UCLA. A look at the brackets in the regional final round. And Michigan has taken a 3-2 lead on Creighton. In the Corvallis Regional, the Wolverines win. They go through. If Creighton wins, they force a game tomorrow night. Matt McLean, the batter, after the overturn call, 2 on, 1 out. And Kyle Mora zooms a strike in there. McLean singled and scored in the 3rd inning. 5-0 Bruins. The numbers on Kyle Mora, his first appearance in the regional. Although the UCLA Kyle Mora has pitched in 2 of the 3 games already. 1 strike pitch in there.
Well, the UCLA Kyle Mora has pitched in over 2/3 of the Bruins games.
0-2 the count. I take it back. Kyle Mora has pitched in all 3 games to this point for UCLA this weekend. Noah Cardenas at second, Jack Stronach at first base. Kyle Mora, 0-2 pitch, and that one's driven foul. Out of play. Five 0 UCLA. Home runs from Michael Tolia, Chase Strumpf, and Jeremy Idens.
Yeah, UCLA's Kyle Mora started the 9th inning this morning, or today, I should say, against Baylor, and
just missed.
With the Bruins closer Holden Powell warming up in the bullpen, and he started the 9th inning bad, and then Holden Powell had to come in, although he only threw 5 pitches.
This Kyle Mora, 4th-year junior from San Jose, went to Archbishop Mitty up in the Bay Area. 2 on, 1 out. The 9-hitter Matt McLean, the 1-2 pitch, way outside. 3 1/3 innings from Matt Volker tonight, giving up 6 hits, walked 1 with 3 strikeouts. And now Mora in the game. 2-2. So UCLA hit 4 home runs in the win against Baylor. They've hit 3 more here against the Lions. Full count on Matt McLean with 1 out.
You roll the dice here. You send your runners 3 and 2. Now, the one thing that you need to know,
McLean does strike out.
Yeah, he leads the Bruins in strikeouts. So I'm sure that's going through Rex Peters' mind right now. Rex runs the Bruins offense. But sometimes, Rocks, you got to push the envelope just a little bit. Bruins are trying to separate here from LMU.
McLean hits it in the air, right center field. Going over is Trevin Esquera. Makes the catch, and the runners retreat. Interesting that Noah Cardenas didn't tag.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. That's a deep enough fly ball for Cardenas to tag up, react, and go back to the bag at second, and tag up because Esquera in right field has no chance to throw him out. We'll get a look at it right here. Here's the reaction off the bat. That's good. That's good. Right now, go back. Go back to the bag, tag. But then when he gets back to the dugout, he'll say, hey, I'm a catcher, bro. I'm a catcher, all right? I'm a catcher.
Two on, two out. Garrett Mitchell 0 for 2. Back to the top of the order for the Bruins. Kyle Mora steps off.
Well, Mora needs to be real careful with Mitchell right now, Roxy. First and second. Throw a fastball down the middle. Garrett Mitchell is very, very aggressive on first pitch fastballs.
Pitch out.
Interesting there. That is very, very. I would love to know the reasoning behind this. You got a left-hand hitter up at the plate. Ewell can see there is no right-handed hitter in his view to throw out the runner at third. That is just very, very interesting to think they'd do a double. It probably was a missed pitch.
From a missed sign?
A missed sign from the dugout.
Called strike to Garrett Mitchell, 1-1.
Yeah, it had to be. I mean, give me a reason why you pitch out. Especially when Cardenas didn't even tag up. He's trying to tell you, I'm not going nowhere, fellas. I'm not going anywhere.
1-1 on Mitchell. Low to Garrett Mitchell, 2-1.
Stanford, the second best team this year in the Pac-12, up 2-0 early on Fresno State.
And the interesting move by David Esker, a gutsy move to hold Eric Miller back, who is normal 3 starter. Did not throw him against Sac State earlier today. Held him back. He's pitching tonight. David Esker rolling the dice and hoping it works for him. 2-1 pitch. Garrett Mitchell drives it to left. Kenny Oyama has a beat on it. One more for UCLA. They strand 2. Heart of the order coming up for LMU. NCAA Baseball Regionals presented by Capital One. 5-0 UCLA. This regional final round, if the Bruins win tonight, they'll force a Game 7 tomorrow night. If the Lions can come back and win, LMU advances to the Super Regionals for the first time in program history. Nick Nastrini, in his first outing since late February, has given up 2 hits. He has struck out 5 through 3. Working with a 5-0 lead is Brandon Shearer with the heart of the order due up for LMU. Takes a strike.
Well, I'm sure John Savage had a number in mind for Nastrini and what his limit was going to be today. You see the Bruins bullpen up right now.
Michael Townsend getting loose. Nastrini just missing, 1-1. His velocity has been good.
And boy,
he's been sharp.
And boy, does he! It just looks effortless.
1-1 the count on Brandon Shearer, who grounded out in the first inning. We've seen home runs all over the regionals this weekend. And as of about a half hour ago, 216 home runs have been hit in this NCAA tournament, including 71 so far today. Last year, there were 230 total hit in the regional round. 2-1. There's a ball top toward first. Diving stop on a backhand. Michael Toglia to Nick Nastrini at the bag.
Well, I love first baseman work for obvious reasons. Watch Toglia is going to leave his feet, get up. Nastrini over to the bag. Another look. The number 2 defense in the entire country to go along with the number 1 pitching staff in the country. Pretty good combination.
First team all Pac-12 Michael Tolia, who has homered tonight. And Trevin Esquera, a ground out in the second, is the hitter. 4 different regional sites have seen at least 15 home runs hit, including ours. Strike called to Esquera is the Athens Regional, where Florida State is taking care of business. 28 home runs in that regional. 28 home runs in that Athens Regional. The second most have been hit in ours, 17. 1 strike pitch fouled off at home plate.
I've got Cardenas real good. And as all good umpires will do, Kevin Sweeney, anytime a catcher takes one off the shin, elbow, face mask, they'll go out and buy some time for the catcher. And this got him good. Watch Cardenas' initial reaction. Ooh. Nope, I'm all right. It's always a great relationship, isn't it? The catcher and the umpire. It's a love-hate thing, isn't it?
0-2 pitch. There's a slider, bounced foul. Count holds 0-2 on the cleanup batter, Trevin Esquera.
It's always a great relationship, Roxy.
Until they ring you up on strike 3?
Absolutely, until the umpire rings you up. You come back, and you'll try to be friends with them, or he will. Speaking of the home plate umpire, it's up to the catcher. He's going to ignore him or not.
How would you react?
Again, I was lucky. I started when I in AAA catching, so I had a relationship with most of those umpires. And
reaching for it, Esquera down swinging. 6 strikeouts for Nick Nastrini.
Well, what's new, Roxy? The UCLA Bruins have another star on the mound. This is a great changeup. Just the bottom drops out of it. I couldn't be more impressed with Nastrini. I mean, out of nowhere, Roxy. We're sitting here today after game 1 going, what does John Savage have to throw tonight's game? And wow.
2 outs. Steven Chavez struck out in the second inning. That ball bounces. Ball 1. Five 0 UCLA here in the bottom of the 4th. Bruins need to win to force a game tomorrow night. And a good start here. And the 1-0 pitch hit on the ground to short. Ryan Kreidler fields. On to first. 3 up, 3 down for Nick Nastrini. John Savage, the UCLA coach, joins us next. UCLA up 5-0. We go to the 5th, along with Wes Clements, Roxy Bernstein with you, as we're joined by the Bruins head coach John Savage. And your offense got off to a good start earlier today, set the tone. They've done the same thing here tonight, but the story is Nick Nastrini. Johnny hasn't pitched since late February, and it looks like he's in your weekend rotation regularly. What have you seen from him tonight?
You know, crazy story. I mean, that early March, he was going to start against Pepperdine the day before. He came up to me and said, "Hey, Coach, I don't know what's going on, but I got, heavy blood in my right arm all the way from my shoulder blade down." And we're like, "Oh boy!" So we rushed him to the hospital, and he had that thoracic outlet syndrome, and they took out a rib, and we, pretty much thought he was done for the season. Bradford had the same thing.
Wide throw. Ryan Kreidler is on, and a ball thrown away by Alex Lambeau, and another base runner for UCLA.
Bradford had the same thing, the left-hander that's a junior at Baylor. And, you kind of hear it every now and then, and I don't know why it happens, but, he had surgery, had the rib removed, and he's battled back, and he got cleared probably about 3-4 weeks ago, and he'd kind of been doing a little throwing on his own, of course, and he just worked himself in shape, and as you can tell, he's in pretty good shape.
Well, yeah, he's in real good shape. He's really been really impressive, John. But do you have a pitch count on him in your mind?
Well, it's
2 on for UCLA.
Yeah, we do. I mean, it's 49 right now. So, we talked about 65, 70. He's been throwing some simulated games, and we've been building him up. And, He's thrown plenty of pins, and he's thrown a couple simulated, and so he's built for that. I don't know about much more after that, but it's a big shot in the arm because we needed that, and we didn't really know what was going to go on just because he hadn't pitched in a game in almost 3 months or over 3 months, I guess. So.
Could you have envisioned this, though? I mean, to be this sharp considering how long he's been out?
No, I really haven't. It's just really a credit to his work ethic and discipline, and he's been with Stefan in the weight room a ton, and Bergie's been working with him a lot, and myself, and he just wants to get better, man. The guy just is a tremendous worker, and he's strong, and he's going to be a very good prospect in our program.
Well, John, your offense woke up in Game 1 today against Baylor, but more importantly, Michael Tolia's bat.
Just is a tremendous worker, and he's strong, and he's going to be a very good prospect in our program.
Well, John, your offense woke up in Game 1 today against Baylor, but more importantly, Michael Tolia's bat woke up. But I think more importantly for the entire offense, Chase Strump today, and he's such a big part of this offense. I mean, his defense never suffers, but I think that's a big, big home run for Chase.
It is. I mean, he's, there's no secret. He's scuffled, and, he's such a good hitter. And, he's whatever reason, he's just really been in a funk, and he's putting a little pressure on himself. And guys have been really good around him, and they're still hitting around him and so forth. And we just know he's so capable, so it's good for him to get that ball in the air and hit it pretty well. Hopefully he'll get him going.
Here's Jake Priest, who's homered twice already in the regional, and a ground ball that could be 2. And it is. Over to third goes Ryan Kryler. John, thanks for the time.
Appreciate it, guys.
John Savage, UCLA head coach. It's a double play ball there off the bat of Priest, and that'll leave it up to Michael Tolia here. New pitcher Alex Burge in the game for LMU. Kyle Morrow went 2/3 of an inning, and now Burge in the game. Freshman from Stevenson Ranch. It's Michael Tolia, switch hitter, batting from the right side here. So Burge in the ball game. 17th appearance. He's made 4 starts. 3-1 and a 4.78 ERA for Alex Burge.
We were talking about Shea Langoliers and the game he had and what it looks like when a hitter's locked in. And Michael Tolia is locked in right now. He's not getting fooled. You need to be careful if you're Burge right here.
Strike call. Well, he's already damaged a car today.
Well, the police showed up back there. So you do the police report. Do you actually say who did it?
Well, we have the video proof.
Well, I understand that, but would you tell? I mean, the guy, he works for UCLA.
You could tell the police to just log on to ESPN3 or get the Watch ESPN app. You can see what happened. It's well documented.
Wouldn't that be something for the policeman to interrupt the game and get a police report from the person who did the damage?
Come down the dugout and say, hey, Mr. Tolia, did you hit the baseball? I cannot lie, sir, I did. No, sir, it wasn't me, I swear. Oh, yeah? Watch this.
Yeah.
Got him. Tolia strikes out. Runner left for the Bruins. Heading to the home fifth, 5-0 UCLA.
5-0 Bruins as we head to the bottom of the 5th inning here. Nick Nastrini hasn't pitched since February, but it doesn't look like it. Through 4 innings, 6 punch-outs, immaculate command, and the Bruins, Roxy, have another ace.
At least an ace in the making. Nick Nastrini has been terrific, and a 5-0 lead. First pitch, Alex Lambo lines to left, and a leaping catch of the move by Jack Stronach.
Well, it kind of helps you're tall at some point in time, and Jack Stronach, it almost looked like Roxy, he was overrunning this ball. Again, we're in the twilight here, so does he pick it up yet?
And he had it right there in the heel of his glove.
He did.
Right there, just kind of wedged in there. Wasn't necessarily the most graceful catch, but he'll take it.
I know what that means.
Ethan Patrick, the DH. And Nastrini will take it. 1 pitch, 1 out. He's just over 50 now. And John Savage telling us probably in the neighborhood of 70 is the pitch count tonight.
Well, it's good information. John in a good mood so far.
Wouldn't you be if you had Nick Nastrini? 1-0 pitch. Slider missed. 2-0 the count. 5-0 UCLA with 3 home runs tonight. Nick Nastrini, his first outing since February 26th. And he has yet to allow a run in his UCLA career. He made his debut against St. John's, worked a scoreless inning the opening weekend of the season. Struck out the side in his debut, 1 inning. Then he made a start against LMU on February 19th, right here at Jackie Robinson Stadium. Went 4 2/3 innings, throwing 74 pitches. And on 4 pitches, Ethan Patrick draws a walk. And it's the first issued by Nastrini.
Yeah, and that's a sign that John Savage is going to keep a close eye on Nick Nastrini. 4-pitch walk is always a good indication. Might be getting a little fatigued out there.
Nate Hadley up in the bullpen. He has company with Michael Townsend for UCLA. 1 out, bottom of the 5th. Dylan Hirsch 0 for 1. But against LMU on February 19th, in the first start for Nastrini, gave up 2 hits over 4 2/3 innings, walked 2, he struck out 9. Nate Hadley on your right, Michael Townsend on your left, with David Berg in the middle. And unfortunately for John Savage, David Berg's not available.
But if John asked him, he'd go out there.
He's everyday Dave. 1 strike pitch on the ground, poked into right field. Dylan Hirsch, a single. Wide turn, getting back to second base is Ethan Patrick. And LMU has something going here in the last of the 5th.
Well, it's not hit hard, it's just hitting the right spot. Just kind of feathers it over in that 3-4 hole, and LMU first and second, 1 out here.
In the bottom of the order, trying to get something going. 2 on, 1 out for Cooper Ewell, the catcher. First at bat for the Lions tonight with a runner in scoring position. 56 pitches now for Nastrini. For the first time tonight, the Lions have 2 aboard.
You can rest assured that this will be Nick Nastrini's last inning. I mean, John Savage told us upwards to 69, 70 pitches, but he's at 56 right now.
Ewell struck out in the 3rd, and Nastrini misses down low.
And we saw the velocity, and now Cardenas is going out, John Savage is going out. The velocity early in the game, Roxy, and they're going. I think they're going to the pen already. Or maybe not.
He's checking on the freshman right-hander who is really giving UCLA a lift.
I started to say early in the game, Nastrini's fastball upwards to 93, 94.
And again, his first outing in basically a little over 3 months. Thoracic outlet syndrome that he needed a procedure from to remove a rib.
You know, I'm pretty sure John just went out there and just kind of challenged Nick Nastrini. Hey, I know you're out here. I know you're gassed a little bit. Can you get me 2 more outs? And he's given the youngster the opportunity to get him out of this mess.
Let him get the victory if he can earn it. 1-0 on Cooper Ewell. Top of the order, Nick Sogard on deck. Also a reminder, I think, to Nastrini, he's got the second-ranked defense in the country behind him. 2-0 on Ewell. Ethan Patrick at second, Dylan Hirsch at first. Maestrini steps off.
Yeah, he's just not comfortable right now. And again, let's not forget, he's a freshman. And he's in the toughest situation he's been in this game. First and second, one out.
And his team season riding on tonight to force tomorrow. Missed high. (3-0) on Cooper Ewell. Townsend and Hadley have been up in the bullpen for the Bruins. There's a strike from Nick Maestrini, who was sailing along here until the walk and a single with one out in the bottom of the fifth. Noah Cardenas comes out for the defensive signs here.
Well, he's given a sign, and that sign right there is in case the runners take off on a 3-1 count, which base that Cardenas is going to throw to, either second and or third.
3-1 on Ewell. Fouled off.
Well, that's just good stuff from the freshman. He's rearing back right now. You saw the 3-0 pitch. More fluid. And that pitch right there, athletic and fluid, as you take a look at Nathan Hadley.
Hadley pitched last night against the Lions, and also pitched earlier today against Baylor. Ground ball left side and through from Cooper Ewell. They're going to hold Ethan Patrick at third base. LMU has loaded the bases with one out. Nick Sogard coming up.
Well, Ewell had the big hit, the game-winning hit last night. And he hits this ball between 5-6. And just like that, LMU, you get a look at Patrick. He wants to score, but no, not when you're chasing 5.
So an opportunity for the Lions to claw back. It was 5-0. The Bruins were cruising here until the bottom of the fifth with one out. 3 straight Lions have reached. Walk, single, single.
How about the confidence so far John Savage showing in Maestrini right now?
Nick Sogard singled in the third. He's 1 for 2. So the freshman in a big spot for UCLA. An opportunity for LMU to get back into the game. Strike one.
What a great pitch. That's a changeup right there.
Confidence to throw that pitch.
Well, this is one thing John Savage does. Yes, it's a must-win game, but it's not a coincidence why John Savage annually has some tremendous pitchers. He gives them an opportunity to get out of messes.
Sogard skies it foul. Hustling over Jack Stronach. So is the shortstop Ryan Kreidler. And they all went barreling over against the side wall down there.
How about the effort from Kreidler, Roxy?
Kreid's a little slow to get up.
Well, you're going to see him, watch him. You're going to go down always on his slide. And that's a 6'3.5" man sliding into that wall, but that's just the effort. But
good to see he's okay.
You know, back to Maestrini. It'd be real easy for John Savage to go get Maestrini and bring in Nathan Hadley right here, Roxy.
0-2 on Sogard.
With bases loaded and one out. But he said, nope, I'm not coming to get you. Show me what you got.
Your team needs you. Two-strike pitch. 1-2.
If you just follow along with John Savage, just has changeup written all over it for me, Rox.
One-two pitch. Hit in the air to left. Jack Stronach going back. He'll have a play on it. Makes the catch. Tagging from third. Ethan Patrick trots home. The other runners stay put. LMU's on the board. A sac fly.
Well, with the bases loaded and 1 out, I mean, if you're John Savage, you're going to concede that run at third. I mean, the big out is this next hitter in Oyama. 66 pitches so far for Nastrini. John told us upwards to 70. But I really think John Savage wants Nastrini to get out of this, only giving up 1 run with the lead, and then go to the bullpen.
2 on, 2 out. Oyama has struck out twice. Sac fly gets the Lions on the scoreboard. And a called strike to Kenny Oyama.
Well, Rox, you see the fastball at 87 right there? Big difference from when Nastrini started this game. He was upwards of 93, 94. Now that's a fastball, and that's 87. So that right there just shows you the fatigue. Cardenas going to go out in front of home plate. Give the signs just in case the runners take off, which base we're going to go to.
Dylan Hirsch at second. Cooper Ewell at first base. 5-1 UCLA. Oh, 2 on Kenny Oyama.
I will tell you this, if Nastrini gets out of this, the dugout is going to go out and meet Nastrini, and well, what an effort this freshman has given.
I hate to put a lot on him because he's a freshman, and it's only a handful of appearances. But do you see some Griffin Canning in him?
I see a lot of everybody in him. I mean, Griffin Canning, obviously one of the elite pitchers to come out of this Bruins program, and now pitching for the Angels. But absolutely, you do. It just seems like everything he's doing is easy for him. We see that a lot with Ryan Garcia with the Bruins. Their ace right now, Pac-12 player, pitcher of the year. But what is it? A factory here for the Bruins?
There is a common denominator, and it's John Savage. 2 on, 2 out. 1-2 on Kenny Oyama. In the dirt, knocked down by Noah Cardenas.
You know, Oyama, Roxy, doesn't hit for average, but, and I say this affectionately, he's a pest. And what I mean by that is that he will foul off and make pitchers throw a lot of pitches every at-bat that he has. He makes pitchers work. You see 70 pitches, which was John Savage's limit. Great.
Strike 3 called, and a pump of the fist. Nick Nastrini wiggles out of it, limits the Lions to 1. 7 strikeouts, 5-1 Bruins. The Super Regional tickets already punched in Florida State. Mike Martin into the Supers for the 17th time. North Carolina, Texas Tech. As Tim Tadlock's team is through. Duke and Auburn. 5 tickets punched already into the Super Regionals.
Well, Chris Pollard, Duke's head coach. And, of course, Sonny Galloway, head coach of Auburn.
And high fives and a hug there for Nick Nastrini from David Berg, as his evening is probably done. And after 5 outstanding innings for the freshman tonight.
Just incredible, Rox. I mean, we talk about MVPs this weekend for the UCLA Bruins. If they go on to win tonight and then win tomorrow, Nick Nastrini.
On the ground to short. Gobbled up. Nick Sogard throws out Jeremy Idens. And there's one away in the top half of the sixth as Alex Burge continuing on the hill. Noah Cardenas 0 for 1 with a walk will be the batter. Cardenas shows bunt.
Up at Sunken Diamond in Palo Alto, Fresno State has knotted it up 4-4.
They go to the bottom of the fourth, a 3-run blast, highlighting a 4-run fourth for the Fresno State Bulldogs against Stanford. Michigan still leading 3-2 over Creighton up in Corvallis. Here UCLA a 5-1 lead. 1-1. Foul ball at home plate from Cardenas. And is there a point in this game, Wes, if you're John Savage, do you start thinking about the possibility of tomorrow night in your pitching staff?
There is. It's just not now. I mean, knowing John Savage the way I do and you do as well, John Savage will tell you, I am never, ever comfortable in this game. And of course, you know, we talked to Jason Gill. We asked him, do you have a plan A and B? And he told us, yes, I do. I have a plan A and plan B, and John Savage has the same thing.
Noah Cardenas rips it to left. Just foul.
That one would have got the car, 100%. The Noah Cardenas left the yard in game 1 today against Baylor. But this kid has been unbelievable as a freshman, Roxy. To catch his pitching staff, and then on top of that, hit over 400. But yes, John Savage has a plan. He wouldn't tell us, I guarantee it.
One and two the count. Here's a high chop to short. Nick Sogard waits on it. And that's a smart play. Sogard, knowing who's running, was able to wait on it and make the play.
The ESPN networks bring you every game on the road to Omaha, starting with regional coverage on ESPN2, ESPNU, the SEC Network, and ESPN3. Whip-around coverage is also available through ESPN3 and the Bases Loaded channel. All coverage is available on the ESPN app.
2 outs for Jack Stronach, a single in the fourth. He's 1 for 2. Alex Burge, the pitch. And that's low to Stronach, ball 1.
But back to John Savage, the one thing we do know, Nick Nastrini gave John Savage probably more than he expected in that blueprint that he had today.
One and one.
Always teaching and always coaching.
1-1 pitch. Inside, 2-1 the count. Five runs, 7 hits. No errors for UCLA. A run, 4 hits, and an error for LMU. 2-1 pitch. There's a ground ball foul. Two and 2 the count. If we have a game tomorrow night, 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 Pacific, if UCLA can finish this one off and force a winner-take-all Game 7 tomorrow night. Full count on Jack Stronach.
16 hosts, #1 regional, #1 seed in the country is UCLA. We are matched up with the Corvallis regional. If you're wondering who hosts and gets an opportunity to host super regionals, it's the top 8 national seeds.
3-2. Stronach on the ground and through. 2-out base runner for the Bruins. A wide turn as Stronach slams on the brakes. And that'll bring Matt McLean to the plate. He's 1 for 2 tonight. Since the evolvement of the tournament and the current format where it is 64 teams, that was back in 1999, where it moved to a regional and a super regional round, 67% of regional hosts advance. And UCLA, who lost last night to LMU, trying to force a game tomorrow night. Matt McClain at strike one.
Well, we did talk about last night, Roxy. We talked about teams that start 2-0 in regionals. What is it? Over 80% they go on to win the regionals. So UCLA trying to buck the odds and the trends.
Last year, only 8 hosts won their regional, the third lowest total in the last 20 seasons. So 8 of the 16 regional hosts last year moved on. 1 strike pitch. 1-1 on McClain. It's the third lowest total in the last 20 seasons, as the lowest is 7, which was done twice, in 2007, 2014. One ball, 1 strike on Matt McClain. Jack Stronach at first base.
I think baseball is just, if you're going to attribute that to Roxy, baseball is just, for me, the most honest game that there is. And what I mean by it is that anybody can beat anybody in one game of baseball. It takes a hot pitcher, it takes some breaks, and it takes some luck.
One and one the count on Matt McClain. Grounded to second base. Alex Lambeau flips to Nick Sogard. Side retired. Heart of the order for LMU. 5-1 UCLA. Well, Nick Nastrini has been terrific tonight, to say the least. His first appearance since late February rather, because of thoracic outlet syndrome. 71 pitches, 5 innings, 7 strikeouts for the freshman right-hander.
He was just tremendous. And as we take a look at Nathan Hadley, but back to Nastrini, Roxy, we were wondering after game 1 today against Baylor who UCLA was going to turn to, and little did we know that there is a star on the rise. As we take a look at Nathan Hadley, he has been stellar out of the bullpen. He gave up last night what ended up being the game-winning hit.
Inside, ball 1.
To Ewell, but he has been stellar this entire year. And he normally will throw in the 6th or 7th inning, and then for 1 inning, and then usually Kyle Mora of the Bruins will come in.
1-0 pitch from Nate Hadley, a strike. Heart of the order for LMU. Brandon Shearer, Trevin Esquera, Steven Chavez due up. By the way, the game will be at 7 o'clock Pacific time tomorrow night, not 6, 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 Eastern. 1-1 pitch. Hit on a line to right. Brandon Shearer starts off the home 6 with a base hit. 5th for LMU in the ball game, and here comes Trevin Esquera, and with 1 swing from Esquera, LMU can be right back in this ball game. He has 16 of the Lions' 22 home runs on the season.
And he also leads the Lions in RBIs. But Roxy, correct me if I'm wrong, I think that is the 3rd consecutive hitter that Nate Hadley has come out and the first hitter has reached base, either via walk and or hit. Ewell last night, first pitch for a base hit.
Third appearance of the regional for Hadley. Esquera to left, going back, Jack Stronach with room, and he makes the catch. Back to first goes Brandon Shearer. There's 1 out.
Well, if I was a youngster, Nathan Hadley would be my favorite pitcher, Roxy. When you're around him prior to the game, calm, gentle, everything. But the minute you say, go down to the bullpen, he turns into Superman, for better words. It's type A times 10 when he gets out there competing.
Steven Chavez 0 for 2 and a called strike from Hadley. The fifth-year senior Nate Hadley from Encino went to Loyola High School in Los Angeles. One strike pitch. Low and away, 1-1. Five innings from Nick Nastrini tonight. Gave up 4 hits and 1 run. So in his college career now, he's allowed 1 run in 15 2/3 innings.
What's new for UCLA Bruin pitcher?
Two and 1. First baseman Chavez. John Savage turning it over to his bullpen and needing 4 innings for the guys down there. Nate Hadley's been busy this weekend. Good breaking ball.
Boy, it is. You see Hadley took some off, 78 miles an hour versus 81 on the previous pitch. And again, to be an effective pitcher, you don't have to throw hard, although Nathan Hadley can get it up over 90 miles an hour. It's all about timing. Pitching and hitting is all about timing. Pitcher's job is to get the hitter's timing off, and a hitter's job is to get the pitcher's timing on the fastball and off-speed pitches.
Fouled away by Steven Chavez. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 1 gone, 5-1 Bruins. A lot of energy here at Jackie Robinson Stadium, and LMU well represented. It's only 10+ miles from here. Ground ball to short. Ryan Kreidler underhands. Chase Strumpf on to first. 2. Bruins have turned 4 double plays today, and a 5-1 lead. Top of the order in the 7th for UCLA.
This is the NCAA Baseball Regionals presented by Capital One. How about this Bruins offense? You see the first 2 games, Roxy, 238 today. 327. 5 different Bruins have homered today, Roxy.
Big day offensively. 2 games. UCLA has come out swinging against Baylor, and now LMU is top of the order. Garrett Mitchell leading off the 7th. He's 0 for 3 tonight in this game. At 2 triples in game 1 against Baylor. Alex Burge continues on the hill. Bounces that one. Stanford has reclaimed the lead. Duke Kinnaman, an RBI single. 5-4 Cardinal. They go to the 5th at Sunken Diamond. Michigan a 3-2 lead on Creighton up in Corvallis. Interesting note for you on Stanford. All 3. As the Cardinal, when you look at teams facing elimination in the history of the NCAA tournament, Stanford, when facing elimination, has a .660 winning percentage.
Wow.
They are 62-32 in the history of the tournament when facing elimination.
And that goes all the way back to, obviously, Mark Marquez.
Before even Mark Marcus.
Jeez, that's incredible.
The best winning percentage when facing elimination in the history of the NCAA tournament?
Who?
Take one guess.
Come from the Pac-12?
Yes.
Arizona State? Oh, USC.
USC. The Trojans have a .718 winning percentage when facing elimination. 67-25. In fact, 3 of the top 5, or 3 of the top 4 records when facing elimination from the Pac-12. USC 1, Stanford's 3, and O's 4.
I want to guess University. Maybe my Arizona Wildcats, and then Arizona State Sun Devils in there.
Both incorrect.
Come on.
Both incorrect.
Why would you be so happy when you look at me? I swear. I mean, folks, you
look
can't
at my
see him.
face. Do you think?
No, he's
take
smiling.
a guess who it is.
Oh, don't tell me it's Cal.
California.
Oh my goodness.
6:47. 3-2 pitch. Strike 3 called. Mitchell thought it was ball 4. Second strikeout for Burge. You play umpire.
Well, we're going to get a look at it. For me, it's a ball. And Greg Howard, home plate umpire, calls it strike 3. Garrett Mitchell doesn't like it. But, Garrett was a little bit animated right here. But, Rox, you got to be careful in the postseason. You get thrown out of the game. What is it, 4?
Well, it's a game for a position player. But we saw it come into play in Louisville, where there's a ground ball to first off the bat of Ryan Kreidler, underhanding. And Steven Chavez gets it to Alex Burge. 2 gone here in the top of the 7th. But Louisville reliever Michael McAveen was ejected in the 9th in an elimination game against Indiana. And he was ejected in the 9th inning for arguing balls and strikes, and faces a 4-game suspension under Rule 2, Section 26A, for disputing an umpire's decision or an unsportsmanlike conduct toward an umpire. So it's
a
not
possibility.
4 games, but the possibility is for a pitcher.
You just hope they limit that to 1 game. You'd hate to see that affect Danny McDonald's club.
Hard grounder to second off the bat of Chase Strump. And a 1-2-3, top of the 7th for Alex Burge. Time to stand and stretch in L.A. 5-1, UCLA. 3 homers for UCLA and a 5-1 lead on LMU as we go to the last of the 7th inning of our Los Angeles Regional, and a win tonight. And UCLA forces a deciding Game 7 tomorrow night. Up in Corvallis, Michigan, now a 4-2 lead on Creighton. And a win by the Wolverines, and they move into the Super Regionals. And should Michigan win, they'll await the winner of this regional for their opponent in the Supers. Alex Lambo leads off the bottom of the 7th, 6, 7, and 8 for LMU as Nate Hadley continues on the mound.
Well, if you predicted and you looked ahead and assumed UCLA wins this game, and again, this is a hypothetical, and UCLA wins tomorrow night in that matchup with Michigan, UCLA has 9 losses.
Driven foul by Alex Lambo, who is 1 for 2.
One of those losses is to the Michigan Wolverines.
Forget projecting to next weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Let's project to if there's a game tomorrow night.
Right.
For LMU,
Mm-hmm.
Cody Paiva, the WCC Pitcher of the Year, was sensational against Baylor here Friday afternoon. Do you think he'll be available? Could he start for Jason Gill tomorrow night?
Well, let me put it this way. This game is not over. But as this game goes on, if UCLA continues to hold on and gets this W, I guarantee you Mr. Paiva will be standing right next to Jason Gill on the way out of this ballpark and say, I can get it done if you need me.
Check swing. Did he go? Yes, he did. Plate umpire Kevin Sweeney says Alex Lambo went around. 1 gone here in the 7th, a strikeout for Nate Hadley.
But Cody Paiva is that type of pitcher, arguably the best pitcher in the West Coast Conference. Many times this year he was just tremendous.
He was the WCC Pitcher of the Year. I wouldn't say it's arguably.
Well, it's not even arguable. Well, there's a lot of good pitching there. I mean, it really is.
BYU has some good arms.
Eric Valenzuela and St. Mary's.
Yeah.
But I guarantee you that
Ethan Patrick, a foul ball. He threw 110 pitches Friday afternoon in the ball game against Baylor, as Paiva worked 7 2/3 innings, allowing a run on 4 hits.
Well, it's interesting. When Cody Paiva was prior to the start of that game, I had talked about how much he kind of reminds me of Thomas Eshelman, the former Cal State Fullerton pitcher with immaculate control, wasn't overpowering. But you worked a regional where Thomas Eshelman started on a Friday.
A super regional where he started Game 1 and closed Game 3.
Just amazing.
One and one on Ethan Patrick, who scored a run tonight. The only run for the Lions. He walked in the 5th inning.
Well, let's put it this way. If Cody Paiva would not be the first pitcher who started a game on Friday night that threw on a Monday game in a regional. It happens a lot.
It's been done. It's been done quite a bit, actually.
And then you look on the other side, Ryan Garcia is in that same boat. Would John Savage use Ryan Garcia tomorrow?
3-1 on Patrick. There is Ryan Garcia and Jack Ralston sitting next to John Savage.
I think he's whispered over to his head coach. Coach, you need me tomorrow if we win tonight? I'm good. Where is
just
that
missed
pitch?
inside?
Well, where is that pitch, Roxy?
And a one-out base runner for LMU. And speaking of Cody Paiva, here's his outing on Friday.
Well, he's not overpowering, but boy, he can throw some darts to inches. I mean, we're not talking about exact parts on the outside part. We're talking about this man throws the ball to all edges of the plate, up, down, in, away. And keep in mind, that's a Baylor offense, Roxy, that led the Big 12 in hitting and put up, 24 runs yesterday?
Runner at first, one out. Dylan Hirsch, 1 for 2. Strike one from Nate Hadley. And
there he is.
There is the West Coast Conference Pitcher of the Year, the senior from Hawaii.
Look at that. See, you see that thing where he's messing around with his right arm? I mean, it's just natural reaction, thinking I got to get ready for tomorrow if there is a game.
Saw him running his poles earlier today along the warning track. One strike pitch. 0-2 on Hirsch. Elevating was Hadley. And if you're wondering about Garcia on the other side, he threw 112 pitches, going 8 1/3 against Omaha Friday night. The Pac-12 pitcher of the year getting the win. Strikeout for Hadley. His second.
Catcher, Cooper.
2 gone. Cooper Ewell coming up. It's 2 gone. Here is the 9-hitter Ewell. 1 for 2. Ethan Patrick at first base. Cooper Ewell will climb in there, trying to put some traffic on the base paths for Nate Hadley to deal with. I also wonder, from the UCLA perspective, like, for example, the starter earlier today in Game 1, right? Jesse Bergen only pitched 1 inning.
Oh, he's available tomorrow, 100%.
Would he start tomorrow?
He could. But again, you got to keep in mind that a starting pitcher is going to throw probably 40, 50 pitches in the bullpen prior to going out there. I'm telling you, these pitches that Hadley's throwing on the outside part, they're not missing by much. But we do know Kevin Sweeney has not been generous on the outside part of the plate. Pretty good patience by Hadley and Cardenas. Probably not so much John Savage.
Ethan Patrick at first. Ball lined to right. Playing shallow. Coming in. Jeremy Idens makes the catch. We're on to the 8th. Jake Priest leading off. 5-1 Bruins. On to the 8th inning is the number 1 national seed. UCLA has flexed their muscle today. Beat Baylor 11-6 earlier today in an elimination game, and surviving to play LMU in the regional final and trying to force a game tomorrow night in this double elimination format. 3 homers tonight and a 5-1 lead to the 8th. Jake Priest, Michael Tolia, Jeremy Idens. Middle third of the order for the Bruins. Here in the 8th inning. Jake Priest 0 for 3 tonight. And a hard grounder, misplayed. Alex Lambo recovers and dug out at first base by Steven Chavez. Way to stay with it, Alex Lambo.
You know, Rox, remember we talked to Jason Gill and John Savage as we're going to get a look at this. Lambeau just misplaced it. Good news. Kept it almost in front of him. Still enough time. But we talked about plan A and B, Roxy, for both of these head coaches. A 5-1 game in the 8th inning, you're stuck in the middle. You know, there is no guarantee you're going to win this if you're UCLA, and there's no guarantee you're going to lose it if you're LMU, so you're stuck in the middle.
Michael Tolia takes ball one.
That was
a long home run back in the 2nd inning, and a vehicle took the brunt of it.
It
Be
did.
on the wall and left.
Well, Michael Tolia is responsible for that vehicle being put in reverse and parked somewhere back there in the darkness.
2 homers today, including one against Baylor. 2-0 the count. Activity in the LMU bullpen. There's the car. It's backed up, and it has a nice baseball imprint, courtesy of Mr. Tolia.
Where's the insurance adjusters with the flashes, flash bulbs, taking pictures?
Another foul. Mark Finklenberg warming up in the bullpen for LMU. There he is.
Well, Southern Miss, Roxy. They have a big come from behind win over the ASU Sun Devils, but they're in an elimination game at the box. They're in front of LSU in the 7th.
Back up the middle and past the pitcher. Alex Burge into center. Michael Tolia with his 2nd hit tonight. Arizona State at one point led that game 10-2. And then was up 12-6 going to the bottom of the 8th. Had a 3-run lead starting the bottom of the 9th.
We were
Could
watching
not finish it off.
We were watching that game here in the booth. Mike Morgan, by play, he'd gone through all the plans that ASU was going to do if they won the game. Go over to the football stadium, take a cold shower, new uniforms, get ready for the game tonight. They're on a plane right now, probably.
Jeremy Idens homered in the 4th inning. He's 1 for 3. Tough loss for Tracy Smith and the Sun Devils, who they have so much firepower offensively this year with Hunter Bishop and Spencer Torkelson,
Aldretti,
Lyle Lynn, Trevor Hover. To center, hit right at Dylan Hirsch. Michael Tolia back to first base. 2 gone here in the top of the 8th inning. And the problem, though, for Arizona State, and you and I saw it all season, is they just didn't have enough pitching this year.
They really didn't. Outside of Alec Marsh, who was a Friday night starter, it was all downhill. And it was up to the Sun Devils.
Although I got to give credit, Boyd Vanderkoy pitched pretty well today.
You're right.
But then behind him, the bullpen just had nothing left. Noah Cardenas, the batter. He's 0 for 2 with a walk. Michael Tolia at first base. Tolia breaks for second. Cooper Ewell will hang on to it. Wild pitch.
Well, above and beyond the pitching and the defense and the power that the Bruins have, they're fundamentally sound when they run the bases. And even 6'5" Michael Tolia right there, a good secondary, read the ball in the dirt, advances to second, and
Want to know the count on Cardenas. Trying to get an add-on run here in the 8th, and it's just low from Alex Burge.
Well, probably the perfect hitter to be up in this situation. Wouldn't you think, Roxy Cardenas? The only 400 hitter in the lineup. Such a talent as a freshman. Very rarely do you have a freshman come in, start the majority of the games behind the dish, and then hit over 400.
There's a ground to third. Flag down. Brandon Shearer on to first. Bruins strand a runner. Top of the order coming up in the last of the 8th for LMU.
This is the NCAA Baseball Regional presented by Capital One.
We go to the bottom of the 8th. Jackie Robinson Stadium, the Los Angeles Regional with Wes Clements and her ESPN crew. Roxy Bernstein with you. Top of the order. And Holden Powell, the Bruins have brought in their closer. The sophomore from Visalia here with a 5-1 lead and 6 outs to go to force a game tomorrow night.
Really not surprised. John Savage wants to get the W. He's going with his best, the back end of this bullpen.
Ball 1 to Nick Sogard. A sac fly in the 5th. He's 1 for 2. And LMU has mustered up only 7 runs in 24 innings here in this regional. Yet, they're 2-0. Powell worked earlier today, a quick 9th inning.
Threw 5 pitches earlier in game 1.
Finished it off, falling behind Sogard 2-0. And John Savage bringing in the closer here in the 8th inning, sensing, you know what, maybe this is the inning. If I can get through this in the top of the order, it could set us up to finish this one off.
Well, there's no question about it, but even more importantly than that, it's the Bruins have to win this game, Roxy. And John Savage is telling Mr. Powell, you've been my best at the end of the games. He's been the closer. Can you get 6 outs? Go out there and do it. We'll deal with tomorrow when it comes.
Because if they don't win tonight, there is no tomorrow for the UCLA baseball team. 3-1 on Sogard. $16 saves on the year for Powell. And a 1.98 ERA. And he walked Sogard to start the bottom of the 8th. And for LMU, they're trying to get to a super regional for the first time in the history of the program. And for the Bruins, avoiding elimination as a #1 seed. First time since 2015. And a pinch hitter for LMU, batting for Kenny Oyama. This will be Ryan Kawano, junior from San Diego. Kawano pinch hitting. Sogard at first base. And Kawano is 225 on the year and 40 at bats. Leadoff base runner, so the Lions trying to get something going. They have a start here in the bottom of the 8th. 2 innings from Nate Hadley. Gave up 1 hit, no run, struck out 2. And a 4-run lead is Powell. Ball 1. And Noah Cardenas will go visit the mound.
Well, it's a good trip by the young freshman. You see Ryan Kreidler out there on the bump, trying to calm him down. And
the UCLA version of Kyle Mora getting loose.
He's loose already.
He's appeared in all 3 of the games to this point for UCLA in the regional. Kawano pinch hitting.
Good pitch. And listen, John Savage is calling pitches. And Holden Powell threw balls with fastballs and fastballs and fastballs. And then John Savage, on a 1-0 count, called a breaking pitch. And a lot of times when a pitcher has lost command of his fastballs, you'll throw a breaking ball just to get your feel back.
Just missed low. As the first at bat and first appearance for Ryan Kawano here in the regional. Played off the bench each of his first 2 years at LMU. 2-1. Nick Sogard at first. Holden Powell, the pitch. Drops in.
The only thing I'd say,
ball.
Excuse me, Rock, but the only thing I'd say is interesting in the UCLA defense right now. They have a 4-run lead. You have a left-handed hitter in Kawano up, but the runner at first, Sogard, for me, he's not important at all. I mean, if he scores, he scores. But what is important is that big, wide open space with a left-hand hitter in the 3-4 hole with Tolia holding Sogard on.
Tried the back door and missed, and a full count.
I mean, for me, I want outs. And the Bruins are 6 outs away, but there is a big, wide hole on the right side of the infield. You see it right there.
And it's in the dirt, and LMU has 2 on. Back-to-back walks to start the bottom of the 8th. And the Lions fans making some noise for the first time tonight. Pinch runner at first for Kawano, who drew the walk. Ben Grunberg running for LMU. Brandon Shearer coming up. He's 1 for 3 tonight.
Well, Shearer just got himself in. John Savage going to make a trip out to the mound. I don't think he's going to take out Holden Powell. I think he's going to calm him down. But when you think about this Loyola LMU lineup, Shearer ends up being a gigantic hitter for Holden Powell. Why? Because the man on deck, Esquera, Roxy, would represent the tying run if Shearer somehow reaches base. And who is Esquera? Well, 16 of the 22 home runs LMU has have come off of his back.
Is it a case with Powell? Wes, do you think he's overthrowing?
Yeah, I just don't think he's relaxed right now. He doesn't seem like he's comfortable in this point. And again, somebody might say, well, you know what? Closers are not used to coming in the 8th inning. And you hear this all the way up to the major leagues. Closers are used to being closers, and closers pitch in the 9th inning. And you've seen the Dodgers try to use Kenley Jansen at times in the 8th inning to try to get a 2-inning save. But it just takes an out. That's all it takes. I mean, right now there's no outs. It just takes Holden Powell to get an out and to feel comfortable again. But if you're the Bruins playing defense right now, it's all about outs. You're not trying to turn a quick double play. You're trying to get outs. You're 6 outs away. You have a 4-run lead.
Two on, nobody out. The 3-hitter, Brandon Shearer, the batter. UCLA's turned a double play already in this one. They turned 3 earlier today in the win against Baylor. High from Holden Powell.
Yeah, he just does not have any feel. Speaking of Holden Powell.
UCLA just needs Powell to throw strikes.
Easier said than done, and many times.
Gets the strike call.
Well, he did. It's right at the knees.
1-1 on Brandon Shearer. Stanford has scored 3 in the bottom of the 5th inning, leading Fresno State 8-4 at the Stanford Regional. Line foul into the UCLA bullpen. And
well, that's his best fastball, Roxy. It was up to 95 right there. That's a good sign.
Shearer a little bit late on it.
I was going to say, if you ever want to know what it looks like when a hitter's tardy on a fastball, that's what it looks like.
1-2 the count. 2 on for the Lions.
But when you see a hitter that's that late on a fastball, Roxy, for me, you got to go back there again, just elevate just a little bit. You throw him something slow right now, you're going to speed up his bat.
Hit in the air to left, over toward the line. On the move, Jack Stronach is able to track it down. And the runners retreat. Sogard to second. And the pinch runner, Ben Grunberg, back to first as Shearer got a hold of that one, but he Left that one up in the air too long for Stronach to chase it down.
Well, he did. Powell, they went right back to the fastball, and I love it that they did. But I think the most important thing is that now Esquera is not the tying run.
He is 0 for 3 tonight. Ground out, strikeout, fly out. 2 on, 1 out. 5-1 Bruins. Holden Powell. Strike one, and getting that out, maybe it settled him down.
Well, you start to see some more rhythm right there.
Sometimes in a ball game, the critical outs come in the 8th inning as opposed to the 9th inning, and that's what Powell's dealing with here. He's opened the door for LMU. He's giving him 2 base runners.
Yeah, it's a good breaking ball right there. And the other thing is Holden Powell has been dominant this year for the Bruins, and dominant pitchers are used to hitters looking bad when they throw pitches, and that's what we have right here with Esquera. Had an account 0-2.
On Trevin Esquera.
So you can go up and out of the zone or throw that off-speed pitch down in the dirt. The last thing you want to do is leave anything in the middle of the plate right now.
Would you elevate a fastball?
Yes, absolutely. Right down the middle, you can elevate a fastball. It's a pitch that you can see good as a hitter. Very hard to get the barrel, and then, or you can go right back to that same pitch that he missed by 2 feet.
Chase the breaking ball in the dirt.
That's exactly what they did. I mean, and this is the Holden Powell. We're going to take a look at the sequence here. 3 pitches to Esquera. First pitch, you see the breaking pitch. And then right back in the dirt with the breaking pitch, and right back again. So we got 3 breaking pitches, 1 called for a strike, and then 3 out of the zone. And this is the Holden Powell, Roxy, we're used to seeing.
2 outs, 2 on. Leaves it up to the first baseman, Steven Chavez, who is 0 for 3 tonight. And Powell, after back-to-back walks, fly out, strikeout, can get out of this and keep it a 4-run lead. Strike one.
And when you look at this LMU offense, Roxy, they hit 8th best batting average in the WCC. So the teeth of this lineup is probably a couple hitters. And we just went through those 2 hitters in Shearer and Esquera.
And without Tommy Delgado tonight, who has been a strong weapon offensively for Jason Gill.
We had 3 hits in game 1. Didn't play.
Fouled off at home plate.
Didn't play in game 2 last night. Apparently he's got a muscle pull in his back, and it was just a spasm that they can't get out.
He was in the initial lineup for the Lions tonight. And then they had a lineup change about 45 minutes before first pitch. UCLA fans rising on the third base side and all around the ballpark. 0-2 to Chavez. Ground ball to third. Matt McClain. Tags Sogard. And Holden Powell strands 2. 5-1 UCLA. We go to the 9th.
The ESPN networks bring you every game on the road to Omaha, starting with regional coverage on ESPN2, ESPNU, the SEC Network, and ESPN3. Whip-around coverage is also available through ESPN3 and the Bases Loaded channel. All coverage is available on the ESPN app.
We start the 9th in a 5-1 lead for UCLA, trying to force a decisive Game 7 at 7 tomorrow night. Strike to Jack Stronach, 8-9-1 for UCLA in the 9th. Stronach 2 for 3 in the ball game. Alex Burge continues on the mound. He's done a nice job for LMU. Took over in the 5th inning.
Well, he's done exactly what Jason Gill asked him to do. I mean, again, if this score holds, because of the job that Berg has done, it allows a better bullpen for tomorrow night.
1-1 pitch.
If there is that game.
2-1 on Stronach. If there's a game tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Pacific time, 10 Eastern. Winner take all. 2 Los Angeles schools trying to get to a super regional. 3-1 on Jack Stronach as LMU looking to advance to a super regional for the first time in the history of the program. UCLA trying to get back to a super regional if they can. There's a line drive off the bat of Jack Stronach. He'll run for a while. All the way to the wall. Digging around second. Jack Stronach slides into third and a leadoff triple in the 9th. A 3-hit game for Jack Stronach and his first triple of the season.
Well, it's a fastball. He doesn't miss it, but I love you cannot get a triple unless you run harder out of the box initially. And this ball's in front of you. When you're running the base, we'll get a good look here. You do not need a third base coach when the ball's in front of you. It's all on Stronach. He's going to make a decision. I'm on my way. Garrett Mitchell can get triples. So can I.
There's a ton of crazy stats surrounding the Bruins. With a win tonight, it would be their 50th win. They're 49-9. UCLA with that triple from Jack Stronach. That's now 30 triples for the Bruins offense this year. You know how many their pitching staff has surrendered this year?
I'm going to guess it's some crazy number like 1.
1.
My batting average just rose.
1. They have out-tripled their opponents 30-1 this year. Matt McLean, 1 for 3 with a run tonight. Top of the order, Garrett Mitchell on deck.
Well, needless to say, that run down at third, big time.
Infield in for LMU. 1-1.
Well, about for 100 years, what's that great run differential that you always want to get? 5, right? You want to stay away from the grand slam to tie you. That's where the Bruins are right now. They're up 4. Hoping that McLean.
UCLA needs a win tonight to reach Game 7 of the regional. No number 1 national scene has been eliminated without winning at least 3 games in an NCAA tournament. And they've won 2 to this point. Infield in, ground ball to third. Brandon Shearer throws out McLean as Jack Stronach stays at third base. That's just what Alex Burge needed. 1 out. Garrett Mitchell 0 for 4 in this game. He has struck out twice after earlier today 2 triples in the 11-6 win over Baylor.
Well, there's a lot in play right here for me. Now, listen, Garrett Mitchell obviously can swing the bat, but with the left-handed pitcher Berg on the mound right now, he falls off to the third base side. Even with LMU's infield playing in, if Garrett Mitchell takes a bunt with him on the right-hand side, run scores, he's safe.
Rounder foul. UCLA with 21 hits in the 2 games. They had 11 earlier today against Baylor.
Yeah, see, the safety squeeze is in play right here, Roxy, for me. And safety squeeze is, and there's a timeout. You see this. I mean, Jason Gill, he's been around the block. He understands what's going on in the other dugout with John Savage. And Ewell's going out to talk to his left-hand pitcher, and a lot has to do with what happens if the Bruins elect to squeeze here. We're going to scream, and ideally, if you catch it early, and the guy will see it first is Shearer at third. If he sees Stronach take out, he's going to say squeeze, and you hope that your pitcher, Burge, hears it soon enough to where he can throw a pitch up and out of the zone.
One strike pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike. So with the 21 hits UCLA has, They have 12 extra base hits of the 21, 7 home runs, 2 doubles, 3 triples. Infield in for LMU. Jack Stronach at third base. Alex Burge, the 1-1 to Garrett Mitchell, and he chased a pitch down and away.
Well, there goes the possibility of a safety squeeze, and now if you're Mitchell right now, Rex Peters running the offense, telling him to calm down, just put the ball in play, which is something that Garrett Mitchell has done a very, very good job of since being inserted in the leadoff spot for the Bruins.
1-2. Burge checks the runner. Now the pitch. Nice job by Cooper Ewell. Michigan now a 6-3 lead in the 8th on Creighton. Here comes the pitching coach for LMU, Nathan Choate, to the mound. And again, the winner of our regional and the Supers next weekend will take on the Corvallis regional winner, where Michigan, trying to put away Creighton, the Wolverines win, they move through. For more coverage of the Division I, baseball regionals, and interactive brackets, go to NCAA.com, and you can go see which region matches up with which as we move into the Supers. We can look forward to next weekend.
Yes.
Jason Gill, John Savage, they can't. Not yet.
Nope. One of them is, though.
We can speculate.
Yes, we can.
Well, Florida State's already through. Certainly Mike Martin can.
Well, I don't want to guess or speculate because I'm wrong, 90% of the time?
Knowing is half the battle. Again, Cooper Ewell with a block.
That's the 4th consecutive breaking ball from Burge to Garrett Mitchell, and now you've gone 3-2. I would like to assume they're going to go right back to that slider.
Full count on Garrett Mitchell. Ryan Kreidler waiting on deck. Here it comes. Mitchell, a high chop. That goes into right field, past the draw and infield, and a 6-1 lead for UCLA. Cooper Ewell backs up the overthrow from Trevin Esquera. RBI single, as Garrett Mitchell just buried that one into the ground.
Well, they elect to go to the fastball, and it's dirt in front of the plate, Roxy. It is hard, but watch Garrett Mitchell, how hard he runs. Now, he knows this is a hit, but watch the turn he takes. I mean,
and a 6-1 lead for the Bruins, and Jason Gill heading to the mound. And LMU will go to the bullpen one more time. Mark Finklenberg coming out of the bullpen for the Lions as Alex Burge surrenders the first run to his ledger tonight. And now a 5-run lead for UCLA. And so far we have these Game 7s lined up for tomorrow. The Louisville Regional, it's the Cardinals and Illinois State, the Redbirds. That'll be on the ESPN app at 1 Eastern. And then at 7 Eastern from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma State and UConn in a Game 7 tomorrow.
And then, of course, up at Sunken Diamond, if the score holds...
Stanford an 8-5 lead on Fresno State in the 6th.
And that would force a game tomorrow as well.
And some of the other games which are still going on could have some more Game 7s. And UCLA trying to force a Game 7, and they have a 5-run lead here in the 9th inning. The nation's #1 seed, and Mark Finklenberg comes out of the bullpen for LMU. The 4th pitcher used by the Lions tonight. But Alex Burge, a solid job, goes 4 2/3, or rather 4 1/3 of relief.
He did a great job for LMU. That's all that Jason Gill wanted him to do, is give his team an opportunity to come back in the game, and that's exactly what he did. I mean, LMU had a nice little rally going in the bottom of the 8th inning, first and second and no outs, but Holden Powell was able to get out of that with just giving up 1 run. And take a look at the numbers. Just 10 appearances, 13 innings, and again, we talked about to Jason Gill when we talked to him in the dugout interview. Does he have a plan A and a plan B? And you'd like to think that Finklenberg was a part of plan B in case they lost this game tonight. Again, still game not over, 3 outs left, but
6'8" junior lefty Mark Finklenberg from Portland, Oregon. Garrett Mitchell at first base, 1 out. Here's the pitch. Noah moved to first. Mitchell back. Ryan Kreidler has scored a run tonight. He's 1 for 4. Homered in the first game today against Baylor. The Bruins have hit 7 here on this Sunday. Bunted by Kreidler up into the air. And an easy play for Steven Chavez. And Garrett Mitchell back to first base, 2 outs.
Well, that's interesting, Roxy.
Second baseman, Chase Strumpf.
I mean, you can understand what Kreidler was trying to do with the left-handed pitcher. Finklenberg falls off to the third base side. If you can bunt a ball and get it on the ground on the first base side, he's going to be safe. But
2 gone. Here is Chase Strumpf. He had the big hit in the ball game, a 3-run blast back in the 3rd inning. Garrett Mitchell running, throw down to second, and Garrett Mitchell will get up and go to third as the throw goes into center field. A steal for Mitchell, his 18th of the year, and then a throwing error on Cooper Ewell puts Garrett Mitchell at third.
Well, you see Mitchell, he's got a 4-step jump. There's no chance you're going to get him, but he pop-up slide, and he's over to third base with 2 outs.
Second error tonight for LMU in this game. Runner at third, 2 down. Finklenberg. The 1-0 pitch to Strumpf. 2-0 on Chase Strumpf, the UCLA second baseman.
A big 3-run home run that was for Chase. Has been struggling virtually the entire month of May, and then all throughout this regional.
But a 2-hit ball game tonight, and that home run maybe got him to relax a little bit. Straightens him up. 3-0 on Chase Strumpf. Jake Priest would be next. In the bottom of the 9th, 6, 7, and 8 due up for the Lions. Alex Lambeau, Ethan Patrick, Dylan Hirsch. Can UCLA get another? Strike call to Chase Strumpf, 3-1. If you're able to tack on another, would you consider taking Holden Powell out?
No. You got to get this win.
Three-one pitch. At the knees, count is run full on Chase Strumpf.
Can't tell you how many head coaches at times throughout the years have held back somebody for the game tomorrow in an elimination game, and or taking somebody out because they got comfortable in a game and there wasn't a next day.
Three-two pitch. Fouled away by Chase Strumpf. We'll do it again.
Fresno State coming back on Stanford. Now 8-6 up there.
Zach Gretsch on a relief for Stanford. Andrew Miller started. or Eric Miller rather, started. Stanford needs to win to force a game tomorrow at Sunken Diamond. Creighton has the bases loaded against Michigan in the 8th, trailing at 6-3. He went around, tried to hold up. Chase Strump strikes out. UCLA, a 6-1 lead. They added another. Lambeau, Patrick Hirsch, 6, 7, and 8, 2 up for the Lions. Well, the tickets punched so far into the Super Regionals, you can add Mississippi State to the list. That already included Florida State, North Carolina, Texas Tech, Duke, Auburn. And now Mississippi State becomes the 6th team through.
Congratulations to Chris Lamanis, head coach Mississippi State.
Holden Powell, as Mississippi State eliminated the Miami Hurricanes. Alex Lambeau, a single back in the 2nd. He is 1 for 3. Holden Powell, strike 1. Powell can finish it off, but the story is Nick Nastrini tonight.
That was tremendous. Did not throw in a game since February.
Since February 26th. 0-2 on Lambeau as Nick Nastrini missed 3+ months with thoracic outlet syndrome. Needed a surgery to remove a rib. And the freshman came up huge for John Savage and the Bruins. Foul ball, stays 0-2.
Now, if there is a game tomorrow, Roxy, we've talked about who LMU could possibly throw. But Nick Frasso is the closer. But Nick Frasso has been a starter.
That's an option. Twice already here this weekend.
But that's in the cards.
Everything's in play. 1-2 the count. Cody Paiva come back tomorrow. Give Jason Gill some innings.
Oh, it's just a game by committee is all it is. It's on both sides. If there is a game 7 tomorrow, John Savage in the same situation.
Strike 3 call. Ran it over the inside edge, and the second strikeout for Holden Powell as Alex Lambeau is gone looking.
Well, it's a backup slider, and what I mean by that, Holden Powell's trying to throw this on the outside part. He ends up throwing it on the inside part. Strike 3, big first out of inning 9.
Ethan Patrick, the DH, has walked twice. He's scored a run. 0 for 1 tonight. Strike 1 from Powell, who battled some jitters early when he entered in the 8th inning. Issued back-to-back walks with UCLA up 5-1 to Nick Sogard and the pinch hitter Ryan Kawano, but then was able to wiggle out of it and keep LMU off the board. Bounding ball cut off on the left side. Matt McClain on to first. 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th, and it's up to Dylan Hirsch to keep it going. LMU has lost their last 5 games when able to eliminate an opponent. Tonight would make it 6 if they were to fall. Last time they beat somebody, a chance to eliminate their opponent, was Oklahoma in 1989.
I wasn't even born then.
No, I said 1989, not 1889. Dylan Hirsch 1 for 3. Strike 1.
You're so mean.
Just honest.
27 times this year, Roxy, the Bruins pitching staff has held an opponent to 2 runs or less.
If they're able to finish this one off, it'll be the 2nd time in this regionals. They did it to Omaha Friday night. Showing bunt, pulling the bat back. Dylan Hirsch, ball 1 on appeal. UCLA struck in the second on the homer from Michael Tolia. And a 3-run shot from Chase Strump and a 4-0 lead through 3. Jeremy Idens homered in the fourth to make it 5-0 before LMU got on the board. A sac fly from Nick Sogard in the fifth. 1-2. Top of the ninth, UCLA added a run. Garrett Mitchell, an RBI single. And now the Bruins 1 strike away from forcing a winner-take-all Game 7 tomorrow night. Bruin fans standing around Jackie Robinson Stadium. 1-2 pitch. Two and two. Cooper Ewell would be next for LMU. Bruins looking for win number 50. And in the famous words of Jack Buck, we'll see you tomorrow night. The Bruins win the elimination game. They've won 2 today. 2 survival games for UCLA over Baylor and LMU. And we will have baseball here tomorrow night with a bid to the Super Regionals on the line. A look at the bracket. And UCLA forces the Game 7 tomorrow night here at Jackie Robinson Stadium. And a 6-1 win over LMU as they look at the Corvallis region. And Michigan now a 6-4 lead on Creighton in the bottom of the 8th inning. But LMU and UCLA has split their 2 games so far here this weekend. And we'll see both of these clubs tomorrow night at 7 o'clock.
Well, the Bruins woke up today knowing they're going to have to beat a really, really good Baylor Bear team, the best hitting team in the Big 12. Under Steve Rodriguez, they got that job done. And then they came back tonight and beat LMU, a team that they lost to last night. Can't wait till tomorrow night, Roxy. Baseball, it's the best game in the world. Don't miss it tomorrow night.
Wes Clements and our ESPN crew here in Los Angeles. Roxy Burnson saying goodnight. Again, the final score, UCLA 6, LMU 1. We'll see you tomorrow night with Game 7 at 7 Pacific.